Yo guys, welcome back to another Danmachi Memoria Freese video. Okay, so today's video, I should have done this yesterday and I'm sorry I didn't, but we're going to go over the rerun winter reverie banners and I'm going to give you my opinions on whether or not I think you should summon or what, well, not whether or not I think you should summon. Ultimately, that is your decision. All I can do is give you an informed opinion about what I feel these units are like and whether they're worth summoning for me. And if that helps you, great. If not, and you just want to sit around and listen to an older weeb talk about weeb stuff, then still let's sit here and have a run through. So we are looking at the 2 rerun banners. Chances are we're probably going to get a rerun of the other 2. If you aren't aware, there was a part 2 rerun. There was a part 2 winter reverie as well. This was the first part. So there probably will be 2 more banners if they rerun those. But before we get into those, I will say before looking at all of the information, I will give a brief overview. Sorry, not oversight. On these specific banners, how it Winter Harahime can be useful when it comes to safely clearing harder content if you don't care about finishing within the turn limits. Sorry, so say like you have to do it within 12 turns and you don't care about S clearing, you just need to beat that, you know, here Kinthos or Aisha or Bell in the storyline, or there's an EX that comes and you really just want to finish it to get the 100 Iris reward or whatever it may be for completing it. Winter Harahime along with the OG Harahime will probably make that happen unless they build the boss in a way that counters both of them, and that's going to be ridiculously hard to do anyway. But for safety, yeah, she's amazing, and she does that. She basically does everything. Sorry, I bumped my desk. She basically does everything that OG Harahime doesn't, and that, you know, she reduces debuffs as well as enemy buffs. She heals MP, and you know, she heals. She increases physical resist and magic resist. She is amazing. Basically, she covers the areas that OG Harahime doesn't, and that's why, combined with OG Harahime, she makes the best safety net for finishing PvE content in the game. Saying that. If you haven't had her up until this point and you've managed so far, probably my neighbor is doing DIY work apparently, and I hope that didn't come through on the video. If it did, I'm sorry. I'll do my best to try and cut that out. If you managed to go this far without using her, maybe you don't need her. Moving on to Take. Take is an amazing assist. Even a year later, he is an amazing assist, but he's a self assist, which means he doesn't help the rest of the team, which means although he increases agility, dexterity, strength, endurance, and has a 100% ailment resist, it's still just self, which means you could be taking up a spot that potentially you could use to fill with another assist that will help out the entire team rather than just that one unit. So he is an amazing assist, but there is a trade-off. Moving on to the other banner. It is this way, right? Yes, it is that way. I don't know why it pops like that. Chigusa. Now, saying as of now, before any balances have happened, she does not do great damage. She's very great at self-sustaining. Like, you don't really have to worry about healing her or making sure she's alive, because if you can give her enough dexterity or counters, she'll heal half of what she does on counter damage, which means she's pretty much always going to be full health. The problem is her counters don't do much damage currently. Now, if we're going to go over the balance notes, but I'm pretty sure they've tried to address that in the balance with the balance pass that they're going to give her. She also has a 100% SA gauge charge, and for an AoE semi-AoE unit with a decent skill-free single target skill, she doesn't do the greatest damage because of how old she is. So I don't know whether a balance pass is going to bring that damage level up to compete with the current units, but it might make her viable enough for you to use her as an SA buffer for your water team. Me personally, after the pass goes through, I'm probably going to go back to using her a bit more because yes, she does have a 100% SA gauge charge, and yes, that is very useful. The Ryu. I haven't used her for anything except beating here Kinthos and Bell because of the fire resist as well as damage reduction. Outside of that, there are plenty of other assists that do a better job of what she does. So I've used her for 2 things since getting her. completely irrelevant and useless right now. So I mean, if you do summon, you're going to take your luck as to whether you pull Chigusa, who could be potentially useful, or Ryu, who actually is just fully redundant right now. But we're going to look at the balance pass stats that they're going to add to the game and see what is what. I just so happen to have them here anyway, and we'll look at Chigusa first. So, what did they change on? Okay, so adjustments. White Crane costs the same MP. They basically increased the amount of the amount of damage it does by 5%, which is okay. Not too fantastic, but not too bad. To be fair, I say not too bad, but that is kind of bad. Currently, all of I think the baseline for most units at the minute is 40%. So they could have at least brought that up to 35 to make her semi-viable. So far, not off to a great start with the balance pass. Passives. Okay, so they've changed her Braver 1, which used to be a regular attack, regular 50%. Okay, regular. When countering regular water physical. Okay, so they've added elemental based damage in her counter, so her counters will do more damage. The heal percentage doesn't need to change because she will always pretty much fully heal herself on the counter attack anyway, but the counters will do more damage now. If I'm correct here, it should be with an additional 50%, because even though it's water damage and not physical, it's all calculated as one damage type. So like all of your physical damage is water damage. So you're just gaining an additional 50% of the same damage, if that makes sense. What else did they change? Fighting Spirit has been changed. They increased it by 5%. Okay. Okay. So they've increased her strength, agility, and dexterity by 5%. That's okay. That's okay. I'm more concerned, I'm hoping that was on the screen now. I'm more concerned with the change that they did here. Like, that is not going to do as much damage, anywhere near as much damage as the current units. Like, that's not a large enough balance pass to make her viable. But then I don't think it would be business smart to make them as viable as the current units, because then you'd have no need to summon. But they could have at least brought that up to 35%, just for her to do something. What else do we have here? So her strength went up. Okay, so the buff overall has taken her strength up okay-ish. It's still below, I mean, just below 2,000. That's okay. It's okay. Agility is over 1,000 now. That's pretty decent. And dexterity, again, pretty decent. So the base stat changes, okay. What I'm not happy about, for the most part, is this bit of her skill free. I don't like that. So moving to Harahime here. What did they change on Harahime? They've increased her MP heal by 5%. Okay, to be fair, they didn't need to do that, because if you worked out her rotations properly, you could use that when it was appropriate, and your allies would never run out of MP anyway. So that was a pretty redundant. Well, I say pretty redundant. So actually, some of the newer units' MP costs on their skills are a little bit out there. Like the newer Ryu, for example, if I'm not mistaken, sorry, her skill free costs 79 MP. That's a hefty price for a skill. But that is all they changed. Really, they didn't give her a stat buff. They gave her no other buff than that. I mean. Come on, WFS. Come on. Be better. Okay? Do better. It doesn't look like they're changing anything about the assists, but then given that, I'm pretty sure the Take has relatively good stats still, even compared to the assists we have now. So that is going to be okay. So if we pop back, we'll just look at the banner art while I give my final opinions here. When we're coming up to 10 minutes, okay, that's a nice start. I don't want to take too long of your time to give you this video, especially because most of you are probably summoned already or not. I know this video is late. I do apologize about that. They still have. Okay, my points at the beginning about what they would be good for still stand. Ultimately, the balance pass changes nothing, in my opinion. Chigusa will hit a little bit harder, and still won't match up to the units that are out now, but that's just a business move. That's nothing to do with gameplay. So overall, for me, this is a hard skip. I don't have MLB Winter Harahime. She's level 72. I haven't used her for anything other than EX or boss battles. Outside of that, she's relatively not needed. And I'm pretty sure if you saved and just waited for a newer unit or a newer version of Harahime, you'd probably be better off. That's just my opinion. I don't feel that she is essential or a must-have. Of course, it's the final decision is up to you. These are just my opinions. Chigusa not going to do much more damage than she did before. The 5% increase. Counters will do a hefty amount more, but the stat change overall is shockingly lower than I expected. 35% would have been where I placed her at, because 40% is the baseline for me on unit skill freeze. So you get that total of 80% increased damage based on your assist and adventurer if you're following along here. So for me, no, I'm not going to be summoning. Do I think you guys should summon? It's completely up to you. If you need them for the reasons that I stated, maybe it's good to go for, but keep in mind there will be, or there should be, part 2 of Winter Reverie coming. I don't know if we're going to get part 2 of the intoxicating banners that are out now. Then, of course, there is the New Year's banners that probably and most likely will be coming as well. So you need to factor in that. And I'm figuring that most of you are free to play anyway. So you need to be a little bit smart about this. Is it worth pulling for or trying to MLB year-old units that are not even getting noteworthy balance passes? I'll leave that for you to decide. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this helped you make a decision. Ultimately, it is down to you. But if you did enjoy the video, sorry, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're not. Social media links in the description. And I want to shout out to all of you new subscribers that came from Pilk. So much love. Thank you so much. And to you, Pilk, as well, thank you so much. You did not have to do the shout out as a real big move of you. Thank you, man. But yeah, subscribe if you're not, like, and I'll catch you later. Well, no, wait, I didn't do it properly. I love you, and I'll catch you later.
Fire!